Alright, so this time we have the Nidici Black Pearl X5 210mm carbon fiber racing frame, and this one came through Amazon, and it was offered by this company Nidici. They asked me to review the frame, so I said alright, why not? I'll take a look at it and I'll do my usual review on it. So a couple of days later it showed up. I thought it was gonna come from China or Hong Kong, but then I noticed that it came from Amazon. So it actually came from the North Las Vegas warehouse. So that's why it showed up like in a couple of days here in Los Angeles, California. So for United States buyers, that's a plus. If you need a frame right away, if this one's to your liking, you could always get it from Amazon and have it delivered pretty quick. So alright, I'll unpack this. I'll spare you the noise, so I'll cut to all the parts unpacked. Okay, so here are all the parts out of the bag. Carbon looks pretty decent. They call it a 3K carbon, and the arms are supposed to be 5.5 millimeters. So let's see, thick. So 5.66, 5.45. So a little variation there. That's kind of normal on 5.45. 5.5. So this one's a little bit thicker than the other ones. 5.6, so not bad. I mean, it's off a fraction of a millimeter, so not bad. That's pretty good. So you can call it 5.5 millimeter thickness. Pretty good thickness. The only thing that I had my concerns about is, and that's not just for this frame. All these frames that are coming out with really thin arms, what they're doing is they're drilling them through the middle here, because that's where they attach the fasteners to attach the arm to the center plates, and that really puts a weak spot right there. So when you crash, that's the point where all the moment's gonna transfer. So when you crash, that's most likely where it's gonna break. It's gonna break right there, or right here at the motor mount, because that's where it's been drilled, and that's where the less material is. They do sell these arms. They have spare arms. I saw them on Amazon, so that's a big plus. It's always good to have a couple of spare arms just in case. Most frames do break, like eventually you end up breaking them if you crash them hard enough. So it's good to see a frame that also has readily available spare parts, especially the arms. These are the ones that break. But I wish all these frame manufacturers would do. Actually, they kind of did it right here, as you can see. They added this bulge right here. So you add this bulge to relieve the stress. You still keep as much material as possible. So I mean, they're already cutting all these fancy parts. So why not just make it a little bit thicker right here? It's gonna add a little bit more weight, but it's fine. I mean, I'd rather have a couple of extra grams, but with more durability. So that's one thing I did mention before they sent me the frame. I told them that I would, that right off the bat, that's one of the things that I was going to mention. If they still wanted to send it, to go ahead and send it. But like I said, this is typical of most of all the frames that are coming out with these noodle arms. So okay, with that aside, as you can see, there's quite a lot of little plates, but there's no like one page of instructions how to assemble it. But most people should have no problem figuring out where things go. It's not really a complicated puzzle. And the pictures on the Amazon website, you can just look at those and pretty much figure out where everything goes. So what I'm seeing here is it looks like they have two options for mounting the camera. Like, so this would be like the camera cage. So where you mount the camera, that would go right there, and the camera attaches in those holes right there. And it looks like they also give you this full cage with an integrated HD camera mount. As you can see, that's right there. So this should be pretty easy to assemble. You see the big slots right there, so that just goes there like so, and it looks like this one goes here in the bottom. So pretty interesting full cage they give you. Shouldn't be that hard to figure out and assemble. As you can see, that fits pretty good, and then the standoffs would go right there, and that would clamp everything in place. I did notice that this plate is a little bit too thick for these slots right here. So so what you do is you just kind of force it in a little bit. Use some kind of mallet and just tap it in, and that went in okay. It went in really tight. So they kind of just go like that, and it's almost seems like a little bit of an overkill for that camera mount. There's like supposed to use these two double plates like so, and then that gets tied together with one of these standoffs, the short one. They give you a short one that goes right there. So that's pretty strong. I don't know why they went like that. Just the one plate would have been enough, but oh well, it's that's how they did it. Pretty strong. So the other option is you don't. I guess if you want like even lighter, you get rid of. You don't use these plates, and then you would use only these for the camera. So that would go there, and that would go there, and you only use the you would only use the standoffs, which is so it would be like that. So that would end up with a lighter frame, like so, and the standoff, the same four standoffs right there. Let's just see what without a HD mount. So if you don't want the HD mount, so just these two little plates for the camera mount up in the front, that's 3.7 grams. And then if you go with the full cage with the HD camera mount, so that would add that's 15.1 grams. So pretty good amount. You would save about 12 grams if you don't go with the full cage. So that's if you want to build it like extra light. I'll go ahead and build it with the full cage. I kind of like the idea of having all this reinforcement. I'm not racing, and I'm not really a top pilot, so I don't think I'll notice any difference of 12 grams. So okay, let's I'm gonna quickly put it together, so see how it looks, and then I'll weigh it all assembled with the full cage. Okay, so that's the frame built up. Not too difficult to build. You just kind of have to figure out where each plate goes, and everything went in pretty easily except for this one plate that needs a little bit of nudging. You can just use a mallet or just file a little bit those tabs, but I would say just kind of tap it in. That's probably the easiest. And then when you're assembling the inner mount, it would be good to mock up this standoff so that you get these two plates aligned, and then kind of align it as close as possible right here, because your strap should probably go around the standoff. I think it's better. And this is a little bit different than the picture. As you can see, I have this pointing up because I'd rather have this flat area here, so that I can, the Velcro strap goes through here, not through this wedge right here, so it doesn't wedge in. So I think that's a better way, I think. So you just mock this up and then tap that in, and then just then you can install it easier. So yeah, everything else went in pretty smooth. I didn't have any fitment issues with anything. One thing I don't like is the screws are a little bit too long. So I imagine that's why they give you these nylon nuts, so that you can get so you don't have any space when you screen the standoffs. You need that nut, so there's no space there. So that's kind of too long, I think. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna end up using this Banggood rubber vibration damping. This worked pretty well to soft mount the FC. These frames are these stick frames are meant to be used with 4-in-1 ESCs, because if you use the arm mounted ESC, they kind of look odd, and it defeats the purpose of having less obstruction here for the prop thrust. So usually most people will end up using a 4-in-1 ESC. So the 4-in-1 will go here first. Now it's not good to have screws through the 4-in-1 holes, because then you may end up grounding the whole frame, and that's not really good. So you want to isolate that. So you want to mount the ESC on standoffs, on nylon standoffs. I'll probably end up cutting these long screws. Then I'll use the standoffs there, then mount the ESC, and then use these dampeners on top of the ESC, so that the FC will be soft mounted on these. And that'll help, because that will reduce the stack height. As you can see, like you're losing a lot of height right there. I'll have to use the Dremel cutout tool to cut those screws. So probably overall threaded length will be about about 13.5 or so, between 13.2 and 13.5 millimeters, so that I can use these guys, these dampeners. So okay, that's the frame assembled. Let's see what it weighs. So 97 grams with the full cage. Not bad. It's not the lightest one. It's not the lightest frame. I guess a very light frame would be around 70 grams or so. But that would be that's like super light, and maybe even thinner arms, and without that, again, remember, you can lose 12 grams if you just use these guys. So if you don't use the whole cage and don't use the HD mount, so you could just use these two right here and the standoffs. So that knocks off 12 grams. So that would be about 85 grams. So pretty good. Frame seems fairly stiff. I mean, it should be pretty similar to others. Pretty stiff. And as you can see, the full cage does have the benefit of protecting everything even more. So in a crash, I can't, it'll be well protected. It does kind of reduce the available height of the stack that you can get in there. Let's see what the clearance is from this plate to the cage right there. There's more room right there to the top plate, but this would be the limiting height right there. So let's see what that is. So you get about 24 millimeters available. So that should be enough to get your ESC, your FC, and then the radio receiver. There's plenty of room there if you're using one of those small radio like an XSR or a XM, and then the VTX can attach to the top right here. There should be plenty of room, I think. So pretty well designed. So I'll use some of the electronics I have. I do have a 4-in-1 that I'll use here. So I'm gonna use these Brother Hobby T3-2306 2450 kV motors. These are the ones I recently tested. If you haven't seen the thrust test for these guys, go ahead and check them out. So I'll try these guys right here. I think they'll look great on this frame. So okay, there you go. That's the Nidici Black Pearl X5 210mm frame. Thanks Nidici for sending it for review. So this was the kind of a quick overview and assembly. So it'll take me a few days to put all the electronics together and fly it, but I'll make another video once I get this thing in the air and show off these guys right here. I've been really wanting to test these. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll put the link for this frame on the description of the video. Again, this is available from Amazon, so it came in pretty quick, within a couple of days. So there you go. Thanks for watching.